plant and allow for about 25% feed the animals. And, it works out.
Got it.
job.
All right. Well, let's get cracking here. Let me start this recording. All right. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Business Doctor Show. John Pyron here, the Business Doctor, your co-host. And I got Choya Harden here, the founder, owner, the magic behind Incredible Towns. Choya, what's up, dude?
Well, this has been an exciting week for us behind the scenes. We've got a lot of really cool new programs that we're going to be announcing soon, not just events, but services. So doing a lot of the back end work right now, which, John, you know what's going on, but we'll have a lot more to talk about soon. So just living the dream and planting next month's food. So
There you go. There you go. Can't wait to hear the update after this meeting today. So exciting stuff. So if you're new to this conversation, this is the last meeting of the month. We're going to talk about finance, accounting, etc. I've got some really important stuff to share with everybody here. This call is going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's either going to make you extremely upset and mad, which is a good thing, because it means you'll take action. Or number two, it's going to help you understand what really happens in the real world as it relates to finance and accounting in business. And then starting next month, we're going to kind of take a different tactic because we got a big promotion going out. The show's going to exponentially grow dramatically. Starting next week, we experiment around with a few things. And this is going to be a true mastermind group going forward. Okay, it's going to be a live show, but we're going to have a situation where you can share whatever business challenge or problem that you have and come be prepared to talk about it, because we're going to give you the help that you need to get it solved. You should not leave this call any week, including today, without asking your question. So in the chat window, place your biggest business problem, challenge, opportunity, need advice on something, you got to hire somebody, fire somebody, whatever the question is, as long as it's business related. Gene's going to monitor the chat window and interrupt us as we talk and bring you in on the live call. Now, understand this is being broadcasted live on YouTube. It's also going to go out to the podcast channel and several other social channels. So keep in mind what you say is what is going to, it's going to be public. Okay. So I would highly recommend, if you don't have a background like I have on the screen right here, get one. Get a, you're going to come here on this live show. Make sure you have a background that has a QR code so you get traffic, because this goes out to several hundreds of thousands of people. And you want to get traffic driven to your business. Now, if you're on video, I get to call on you and we get to ask questions. But if you're not on video, that means you're not going to be seen on YouTube, FYI, okay? Because YouTube does not broadcast anybody that's not on video, number one. And number two is in order to participate in the live Q&A, you need to turn on your video. So with that said, and then feel free to raise your hand throughout the time. Gene, again, to monitor the chat window, but we're going to have some fun today. So, Choya, what's up? Before we get started, anything specific on your mind that you would like to talk about as it relates to business? Let's talk about just general business stuff real quick.
finances or just business in general?
Whatever you want to talk about, man.
Well, tip of the day, whatever you do, be active. One of the worst things that I can see when I'm trying to research a business is I'll go on their social media page and they haven't posted in 5 months, or I go look at their website. It looks like it was written in 1995 by a high school student. And they just really don't have much presence. You can't find out much information about them. It just makes me think that you're closed. So if my tip of the day today is be active, be present, be out there, be visible, whatever
Yeah,
that takes.
absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to be an undercover agent in your business, right?
Nope.
So it
Nope.
doesn't work very well.
You want to sound the
So,
claxons, not hide in the caves. So.
yeah. All right. So, I'm going to share with you guys two quick stories. Um, and I'm going to land the bottom line first. Here's the purpose of them. Number one is when stuff happens to you in your life, there is a reason for it. Okay. And regardless of where your spiritual life is, faith, hope, trust, whatever, okay, things don't just happen because it just randomly happens to you. That's a victim mentality, and all successful business owners do not play the blame game. But what's interesting is you'll look back on your life and go, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why I went through that. Now I understand why I was allowed to survive that for this moment in time. So I'm going to take you back to 2009, and I come back from being gone for 2 weeks of vacation, and then my operations director at the time took off for his 1 week vacation, and next thing you know, an IRS agent comes through my door and goes, hey, we need to talk. Now, they never do that, by the way. Okay? They never do that unless you ignore them. Okay? And I had not realized that my operations director was ignoring them. Okay? And not only was he ignoring them, he wasn't sending in the payroll tax checks that I was signing. Okay? He just stuffed them in a drawer. Because I didn't realize from the bookkeeping and accounting standpoint, we had some cash flow issues that he wasn't telling me about, and as a result, I got caught in a very peculiar situation, and I had to work that out. Now, what I learned from that is I have to, as the owner, pay attention to the finances of the business. It's because I have a CFO. We were doing a little over $2 million a year in revenue at the time, and when you do that much revenue, there's a lot of things that just will fall through the cracks. Okay. And so I got lazy, and I had to take ownership of it because I did. I got lazy in the whole situation, and I got punished really hard for it. Number one. Number two, fast forward a couple years later. In fact, let's see, that was 2009. So fast forward to 2015. I'm doing a national podcast. So Choya is sponsoring this show. This show's been going on since 2013. I've had different sponsors over the years. Credible Towns is the current sponsor of the show. They are exclusive. There's no other sponsors allowed. And so at some point here in this live show, Choya is going to tell us a little bit about Incredible Towns. At the time, it was California Capital Women's Business Center, a division of the Small Business Administration, and I was doing sales training nationwide for business owners and running a weekly live show. This lady heard me on the show, called me up, did a 10-minute call, hired me for a strategy session. I ended up hiring me to, her goal was, we've been in business for 22 years, John. We do $4.9 million a year in revenue. Our average employee here, we got 19 employees, and our average employee's been with us for more than 15 years. Great culture, great company. I was super fired up. And I said, you know what, at the end of the day, what's your ultimate goal? Well, I want a business that can run without me, where I can go away to France. Me and my husband love France. Mm-hmm. We want to go there, not think about this place, rent some motorcycles, go throughout the hillside, and not even check in, not even be found. And I can't do that. The longest I can go away is about 2 weeks. I said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have to assess every single employee. Long story short, great employees, okay, except when I came to this person named Mary. Mary had been the quote-unquote internal bookkeeper. Now, keep in mind, the owner had a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. So I'm gonna tee this up, man, because this is very important. You don't have, even if you have a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance, this could happen to you, okay? And so after assessing her right-hand person, I said, why is she responsible for payroll? Why is she responsible for bookkeeping and accounting? And if you ever do a TTI assessment, or if you ever do a strategy session with me, or even a 10-minute, if you complete a successful 10-minute call with me, you will get one of these assessments for free. And it will tell you 93% accuracy of who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what will work for you, what will energize you, what will motivate you. It creates a perfect world scenario for you. It's extremely accurate. So I assessed everybody. Finally came to Mary. I'm like, you have government agencies, like you have, government agencies that you have to do what's called a certified payroll. How often are you late in getting paid? Because if you don't file payroll on time, you get paid late. Oh, we're always late. I'm like, well, yeah, because she really does not have the personality profile for the job you have her doing. Her driving forces, her strengths, her weaknesses, none of those have anything to do with accuracy or accounting or finance. I am not shocked that she is not doing a good job. Yeah, but her and I have been friends for a long time. Okay, mistake number one. If you are a leader of a company, okay, this is going to get under some of you guys' skin, and I hope it does, because I want to save your butt from this happening to you. The moment you cross the line of being a leader in your company, the moment you cross the line of being the employer to being their buddy, you are no longer going to be very effective at leadership. At some point, you got to hold that person accountable. It's not fair to them for you to be. It's like having a child, and all you want to do is raise them by being their buddy. That is not in their best interest. And so, in this case, she crossed that line. I've crossed that line. Lots of people cross that line. Every single time I cross that line, I get bit in the butt, and I have to learn the hard way. So in this case, I said, well, we need to reposition her. Long story short, got a new position for her. She's all fired up. Said, hey, I want to continue to do payroll. I said, did she actually say that to you? She said, yes. I go, she's embezzling from you. She goes, no way. There's no way in heck. She is my best friend. Our kids have grown up together. We do vacations together. We do holidays together. Heck, we did Thanksgiving, John. We're doing Easter coming up, man. Like, we're going away on a 10-day cruise. I go, totally understand. And now she's your buddy and not your employee. Okay? But mark my words, she is stealing from you. And she would not believe it. I said, you tell her this afternoon. She is not doing payroll. Because she hired me for a business transformation program, and I call the shots, not her. And so I hired a replacement bookkeeper that is better, 10 times better, and she started on Monday. So I said, have the conversation with her. Had the conversation with her on Wednesday night, or when I found out they had the conversation on Wednesday, she said she wanted to keep payroll. I said, you tell her on Thursday she's not keeping payroll. I said, okay, I did. The next day, Friday, she calls in sick. Okay? On Monday, she quits. Now, this is her best friend. Okay? They do vacations together. Her right-hand person. This person even went down to Starbucks and got her a mocha every day. They were that tight. Now, you know you're tight when you go down to Starbucks and get a mocha for your boss, okay? Just saying. Now, that's a little joke there, but got to lighten the mood on the hammer I'm about to drop. And so 2 weeks later, I'm getting ready to go to speak, okay, at a place over in Roseville. Jay knows where it is, Buns and Company, okay? Getting ready to do a speaking engagement there, teach some business owners, and she's blowing up my phone. And I said, what's up? She goes, you'll never believe what that F&B did on her way out the door. I'm like, whoa, time out. What are you talking about? She wrote herself a $40,000 check on the way out the door. I go, you got to be kidding me. How'd that happen? Well, my husband and I, we travel a lot. We leave 4 or 5 blank checks lying around so people can do business. Mistake number 2, do not do that. Okay? Do not do that. There are better ways when it comes to accounting and finance. I'm going to land the plane real quick with the solution to that problem right there, because too many business owners do that. It's very simple. Find a very good and long-term employee that you absolutely have trust with. Okay? Find a good, solid bookkeeper, accountant that they don't get along, they don't talk, nothing, and you create a 2-signature situation before any blank check is going to be issued. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, you make sure the bank has clear instructions that they have to verify both before they release the funds, because here's what happened. Because she'd been doing that, I had to go now and deal with the bank on her behalf. Bank's like, you've been doing this for 10 years. Sorry. Not happening. Okay? Bookkeeper came in, did the forensic audit. This woman had taken the Office Depot card and the Staples card and been buying Christmas gifts and all kinds of stuff that she was selling on Facebook Marketplace, and it literally stole about $300,000. Okay, now this is her right hand man, her best friend. You know, we did vacations together. That's right. Extremely painful lesson. Here's the point: you can't. Now she had an accounting and finance degree. And I said, when did you stop looking at the financial statements? When did you stop looking at the finances, man? Come on, you're doing $4.5, almost $5 million a year in revenue. It's harder to steal from a company doing 500,000. It is very easy to steal from a company that's doing 5 million. Because you can hide little things like that. So we had to fix it. And by the time September rolled around, she went away for February. We actually bought a truck, hired a whole new crew, and increased sales in that 30 days. So we fixed it. Now, why was that important for me to tell you? Because I had the same dang thing happen to my butt years before. I was prepped to help somebody in the same problem. You never know when you go through a problem as a business owner, the opportunity behind that problem. Like my mentor Grant Cardone has told me for years, if you ain't creating new problems in your business, you ain't active enough. Say that again. If you ain't creating new problems in your business, you aren't active enough. If you want a resource on that, go get the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I think it's about chapter 8 or 9. Okay? By nature, if you're going to be active in your business, if you're going to show up to this call, understand, showing up to this call is optional for you. You don't have to show up here. But I would recommend, since you're going to spend an hour of your life every week, get something out of it and take action on it. Because you don't need to be here. You can go and watch the recording on YouTube. The only reason you want to be here live is because you get to raise your hand. You get to put whatever questions you want in the chat window. You get live free coaching from a whole group of people here. So it's super valuable to be here. Now, fast forward. Here we are 3 weeks ago. 42-year-old company. CFO. 30 years in there. They become good friends. What's the problem? Anybody? What am I about to say that you haven't already heard? Okay? So, go ahead. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Friends are friends and business is business.
Good.
Keep your enemies close
Dr.
and your
Jones.
friends closer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nothing ruins a business relationship like friendship. Sometimes you have to keep the two separate.
Yep. That's it, man. And in this particular case, this client was referred to me by a banker. And after looking over everything, and I realized everybody's a buddy. They haven't even modified their employee handbook since 2017. Big red flag. Okay. Quote unquote CFO, not a CFO. No accounting degree, no accounting degree in finance, no CPA, no college education in accounting at all. It's just her buddy who likes to do the books. Okay. Big red flag. Okay. Don't skimp on services, especially bookkeeping, accounting, and tax. So I had to fire her and 3 other 30-year-plus employees last week because they were all in cahoots, embezzling and stealing money from this poor lady. Poor lady's got to be in her mid-70s. Okay, unbelievable business, global business, big business. And I had to go in there, get attorneys involved, get HR people involved. Now I got to deal with all kinds of stuff. But here's the deal: it's like when you allow somebody to issue themselves an extra bonus every month for the last 5 years, and you aren't paying attention to the checks, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt as a business owner. Because once they get away with it once, they're going to expand their different strategies. We still don't know. Thank God, one of my clients, Justin Gimbel, who is not able to be here right now because I got him knee deep in that fire right now. He's got a master's degree in accounting and a master's degree in finance. And if you even communicate with me in any way, shape, or form, or even come to me for any of these types of problems, Justin Gimbel is going to be the first person I refer you to. Can dance circles around every bookkeeper, CPA, and tax strategist on this planet. And he's an ex-military veteran of 24 years, Master Sergeant in the Navy, which meant he was second in command. Because guess what us business owners need? When it comes to finance and accounting, what do us business owners need? Anybody? What do you think we need the most as a successful business owner?
Someone to tell us what to do. Get out of the way.
Okay, that's good. What else do we need from somebody in charge helping us with finance, accounting, and taxes? What else do we need?
They need to
We
be
need somebody to tell
knowledgeable.
us what we need to hear. Go ahead.
They need to be knowledgeable in what they're doing in tax code and just very efficient, and keeping you updated on your weekly numbers.
There you go. And they can't be your buddy. Okay? They need to tell you the cold, hard truth in it. Here. You know? And so that's why I like Catherine. Okay? Catherine Stelfu is on this call live here today. It's under Catherine's cell phone. Okay? Gene, because Catherine's my client of mine, you have my permission to get with Catherine and create a graphic, Zoom graphic, for her to use on her phone as well as her computer with all her QR code and everything, and I'm just giving it to you. Okay? So, because you are my new secret weapon when it comes to a financial planner. Okay? The thing I love about you, 26 years of experience. You've been out here in the East Coast. You survived the country of California, and you know your stuff. But more importantly, it's like you and I've talked, is like you're going to tell a business owner what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, because most business owners make a crap ton of money and they spend it all right out the back door. And then they wonder why they can't expand their business, or they get themselves into a cash flow crunch or anything like that. And you're the new secret weapon, not just for my clients, but for me. Your job is to protect me from me. And so if you don't have a good, solid financial planner who is willing to actually get uncomfortable enough to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear, if they're just your buddy, oh, yeah, that's going to be okay. And then later on you find out you didn't really have a plan, okay? You go to hold Catherine to get a second opinion about that. And then when you get big enough, you hire Jay. He manages all your professional employer organization and makes sure that you don't overpay all your insurances and stuff, okay? But here's the point. It's like the fraud that I uncovered over this last week is just, it's sickening. It really sucks, to be quite honest. Okay? To be in a situation to watch somebody who's been in business for 41 years, who's poured her heart and soul into her brand and is taking care of these employees, to be taken advantage of. It happens all the time. So let me land the plane and open it up with some questions. 3 things you absolutely must have. Okay? And if you and I never talk from this day forward, if the last thing you ever hear come out of my mouth, these are the 3 most important things. Number 1, when you get your business to the point where you are doing $50,000 a year in revenue, top line revenue or more, you need a professional bookkeeper. Okay? You can argue it all you want. But when the IR and the S come and audit your butt and you're doing over $50,000 a year in revenue and they find out you do not have a professional bookkeeper, they have an internal rule. They're going to ask for all your bank statements because they know you don't know how to do bookkeeping. Okay? Now, when you get that business to $750,000 to $1 million a year in top line revenue, do not outsource your bookkeeping no more. Okay? It's going to tick off a lot of bookkeepers here. I don't really care. That's just how it is. Okay? I'm going to hire somebody who has a very highly analytical brain. They're going to be more of a tactical operator assistant because that's what you need at that level. Okay? Especially if you're like my friends here at Sunrise Plumbing and Remodeling, or Aaron, or Nicole, or Jay, or Rita, or Jane, or we got to rename you, Bree, because you're not Alicia Turner. You're messing me up here, man. All right. So, or you're Bree, because Bree owns a very, very successful housekeeping business. Okay. And if you're in Knoxville, you really should hire her. And then Gene here is a Jedi master at graphic design and web. I mean, there's jack of all trades. You're like the fastest creative person I've actually ever known. Let's rename some people here, and I'm going to go back and land the plane. We got Choya here, who's got a unique marketing background, and Catherine's financial planner. So don't skimp on this. Okay, bookkeeper at that level shouldn't cost you more than $200, $300, $400 a month at the most. Okay, but once you get about $750 to $1 million, bring it back in house. You need a tactical administrative assistant who can be trained by that bookkeeper to take over. Okay? And you're never going to outsource the bookkeeping after that. When you get to about $1.5 to $3 million a year, then you're going to start looking for somebody more like a CFO, usually around $3 to $4 million. Okay? But for the beginning, bookkeeper. Okay? You don't need a CPA. So you get about $3 million. Okay? I didn't know at the time, and I was doing over $1 million, and I was told, you got to get a CPA. Oh, my God, you got to get a CPA. You got to get a CPA. So I called up Mike, and I'm like, hey, man, I need a CPA. I can't work with you no more. Like, I've outgrown you. And he just laughs. He's like, I've been in business for 35 years. You're outgrown me. Really. I mentored your butt. Okay. Whatever, John. Have a great day. That quote-unquote CPA cost me $75,000 in overpaid taxes. Because you can fail the entire tax portion of your CPA exam and still become a CPA. Okay, which leads into my next thing. Until you get to about $3 million, get yourself another bookkeeper, a high-end bookkeeper, like somebody who really knows their stuff, to double-check your internal person's stuff and be there as a mentor for them. You only need to talk to them once a month. It's only going to cost you about an hour, maybe a couple $100. Don't skimp on this. Trust me, too many businesses have lost a lot of money skimping on this one area right here, okay? Trying to operate their business based on their bank account. And so until you get to about $3 million, you really don't need a CPA, okay? Once you get there, get a CPA to then double-check your internal bookkeeper's deal, okay? Now, 2 other people you need, and they could be one and the same, but do not make this selection here by the bookkeeper or the CPA. You need a good tax strategist, okay? And the difference between a tax strategist and a tax preparer is this. Tax preparer is going to take all the stuff that your bookkeeper and your accountant has verified, and they're going to plug in some numbers, they're going to use some software, and they're going to give you your tax return, okay? A tax strategist will sit down and look at the overall picture, and you only need to meet with them twice a year. Once your third quarter books are done, usually the first or second week of October, meet with your tax strategist. Then go meet back with them again in the middle of December. If you do that, I promise you this, you will not overpay your taxes every year. Too many people overpay their taxes until they come talk to me and they realize, oh my God, I've been overpaying my taxes. Yeah. Now, I'm not an accountant and I'm not a bookkeeper, okay? But I got ripped off by an employee, and I became very good at this. And I've helped a lot of people, business owners, help themselves and save themselves from themselves. Okay? So then you got your tax strategist, you got your high-end bookkeeper or accountant. If you're above $1 million, they're double-checking your internal person's stuff, and you got the perfect system right there to make sure that you don't overpay the government. And I'm going to tell you this right now, everybody on the live call and listening to the live recording and on the podcast, if you've been in business for more than 2 years in the United States of America, regardless of the entity that you have or no entity, if you did not write yourself a personal check last year and in the memo section put the note, Augusta Rule, okay, you do not have a tax strategist. You have a tax preparer. It is the most common missed free money deduction we get as business owners. Part of the 2017 tax reform. Look it up, ChatGPT it, Google it, step by step, walk you through exactly how to take advantage of it. And I'm not going to get into the details about it. But if you did not issue yourself a personal check from the company to you, tax-free, on both sides, you missed out on one of the easiest deductions that you can take as a business because you don't have a strategist, you have a preparer. Okay. So I know I've covered a lot of detail. Go back and listen to this call. Okay. If you're still confused and you don't know what to do, then go to johnpyron.com. Okay. Click on book appointment. Get on my calendar for 10 to 15 minutes. We don't need more than 10 to 15 minutes. Trust me. Okay. My team's going to send you some questionnaires ahead of time. And just like going to your normal doctor, you come in, that dude or gal ain't hanging out with you for a half hour to an hour or 2 hours. They're going to come in, they're going to read your chart, go tell me about that knee problem. Does it hurt here? Notice how this little thing, tap, tap, tap. I don't know why, even if I have like a pinky toe hurting, they still check my freaking lungs with that stethoscope thing. Okay, make sure that I guess I'm not going to die or something. But, that's what my staff does. They prep the person before the 10-minute call, so I only need 10 to 15 minutes to tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I am going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I am not here to be your buddy. Okay? And if that sounds harsh, it's because I care about you and I care about your success. And I don't even know you. I just am sick and tired of watching business owners getting taken advantage of from a bunch of BS consultants who never actually built a business. Okay? And so you got to get the right advice, because every one of us on here, I am included in everything I'm saying here. We work our butt off to build our business. And sometimes it's 6 and 7 days a week. So I want you to know, I feel, it's like, what was the Bill Clinton line? I feel your pain, man. I feel it. Yeah. And so, get on the thing, man. So anyways, we covered a lot of stuff. Go back, like I said, share this call with people. Like it if you're on the YouTube channel. Make comments. Feel free to challenge anything. If you feel like you got some expertise that you can add to this show, get on my calendar and let's talk about you being a guest here. So with that said, we covered a lot. What do we have teed up, Gene? Any questions that somebody has?
The big comment right now.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Need clarification? Did I scare the crap out of you and you wanted me to calm your nerves? What's on your mind?
I've got a lot of stuff coming up, but I'm just not prepared to announce it yet, so I don't want to talk about it. So I'd love to hear if anybody else has anything.
So you're going to just drop that bomb, okay? Tell us you got all kinds of exciting stuff coming up, and then not tell us what it is? That's just cruel, dude.
It's called building anticipation. It's going to be revolutionary for small businesses, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
That's it, man. And so to keep in touch with incredible towns, incredible business networking, where do we go and how do we plug in?
Well, just that, incredibletowns.com or incrediblebusinessnetworking.com. You can find us all over socials as well. We have a newsletter. You can sign up for push notifications on our website. There's no shortage of ways to get in touch with us if you need us. And as always, if we can be of service, ask. Even if you just need a little bit of advice, again, I'll be happy to do a 10, 15-minute phone call with anybody as well. And we'll see if there's reasons to move forward. Maybe you need some good marketing, some good direction, some good coaching. John and I are here to help. So we want to see you succeed above all else.
Got it. All right. So if you're on this call live, you got a couple of options. Okay. We can talk about bookkeeping, finance, accounting. We can talk about whatever you want. Okay. Everybody that I talk to, most people, it's like, I need more leads. And then when I get under the cover, not under the covers, but when I peel back the onion and pull back the covers,
under the hood,
I realize that, under the hood, there you go. That's a better term. I realize, no, you don't need more leads. You don't know how to convert. Okay. So so hit me. Okay. What is your biggest problem that you have in your business right now? What is the biggest problem you have right now that we can help solve today? Now, this is your opportunity for me to ask you questions about your business, and you get attention from other business owners here and the thousands of others who are going to watch this and listen to this. So don't be shy. You're a business owner. This is your one opportunity to talk about yourself and your business. Who's going to hit the unmute button first? Go ahead, Rita.
Okay, so I've been following your advice. I'm in a mastermind with John every week, and it's making a big difference in my business. And so I've implemented a form that people fill out ahead of time with 7 questions, and then we do a 20-minute systems audit. And I immediately identify 1 or 2 bottlenecks that we can fix, and that leads to a 2-hour deep dive where we actually fix them. And then that leads to higher packages for my services. What I want to back all the way up is I want to put out a lead magnet to get people interested in that first step of learning what could be wrong with my systems, or what are systems. What do you mean I need systems? Right? So a lead magnet, I know checklists are really good lead magnets, and sometimes a case study or something like that could be a good lead magnet. But John, what do you think?
So I think there's 2 ways to explain your service and product. Okay. And depending on which route you go determines whether you're going to get caught in negotiating on price or negotiating on value. And so I want you to picture everybody's seen a straight pin. Okay. Used for sewing, right? Okay. Let's just say the straight pin's 2.5 inches long. If I throw the straight pin at your clothes, it's not going to penetrate, bounce right off. Okay. And that's features and the details and the logic behind your product or service. Okay. You try to explain to me in terms of features without tying it to benefits, features, and you're going to get all excited about the technical aspects of your stuff. This is very common in CPA firms, accounting firms, IT firms, that sort of thing. Okay. That's like taking a straight pin and throwing it at somebody's clothes. Okay. There's nothing that's going to move them to make a buying decision. Okay. Now, imagine you take the exact same straight pin and you put it on the end of a broom handle. Okay. The tip of the pin doesn't even have to be sharp. You can take a pin, hammer it, make the whole tip dull. Okay. But now, if I take that broom handle and I throw it at you, it's going to penetrate. And the broom handle is emotion. The broom handle is benefits. The broom handle is what it's going to do for me.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, we are human beings. We tune into our #1 favorite radio station is WIIFM, which stands for What's in It for Me. Okay? Always remember that. Dale Carnegie, his famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, point blank says, and I believe it's about chapter 6, when you talk to people, you need to see a sign that's literally on their head or hanging around their neck, make me feel important. Okay? Because you got to communicate your product or service in a way that they can see the benefit and they can see the value of it. And by doing that, in order to do that, you need to ask lots of questions. Okay? Without asking lots of questions, very hard to sell to their emotion and what they actually want, right? So we got a good friend of mine, new friend of mine, Sunrise Plumbing and Remodeling, okay? Because people look at plumbing and remodeling, it's like, well, it's transactional-based business. Well, it can be if you want to be like everybody else, okay? But if I'm a plumbing, because I know I have JR Plumbing out of California, worked with him, Dennis, for years. He's up to $45 million as a plumbing company. The only reason he's able to get to that level is he stopped selling on price. Okay? Start negotiating contracts going, listen, man, you got this, 45 toilet office space, okay? You're going to need my services on a regular basis. So we should sign a contract that makes me your exclusive plumber, and I'm going to come out and do some preventative stuff 2 or 3 times a year to make sure that you don't call me when something breaks. And it's almost like we created a managed service program for plumbing, okay? In the Knoxville area, I didn't know. I just moved here. There's a crap ton of people moving here from outside of this state. Okay. I was freaking out, man. Like I was at Small Business Matters one morning, and Sunrise Plumbing and Remodeling gets up and says, "Hey, it's gonna freeze. You need to go over there and check your plumbing. You need to check your pipes. You need to do this because you're either going to do it what I'm telling you to do right now, or you're going to call me after that pipe is burst." And me being from sunny California, where it gets, I mean, I can't think it gets down to like, I don't know, 39 degrees. Okay, I'm like, oh my god, is my pipes going to burst? Like, I don't know. Well, you should hire me to come out and look at it. Well, think about that through. I should hire you to come out at least 2 or 3 times a year just to take a look at my stuff, because I don't want to deal with a water heater waking up one morning that thing having a problem.
Mhm.
And if I'm on a subscription with you, I get priority. And more importantly, I need to pay your butt. Now I'm selling my own self here, by the way, because I think it's a brilliant idea. I bought this house last summer. Okay, I have not had a professional plumbing company come out and tell me what I actually bought. And the last time I checked, I'm not a plumber. But if you had a program that says, "Hey, for $250, $300, whatever," okay, I will come out and assess all of your plumbing and give you a report and at least give you a baseline, so that way you're not caught off guard. And I'll come in once a year to do that, or twice a year, because apparently this place here, they have a hard winter thing, and then they have a hard summer thing. And I got this home warranty thing, but I don't want to deal with and fine, it'll be covered and all this other crap. What I don't want to wake up is not having hot water. Okay? So, and not only that, but when she gets me as a client in my block here, which this neighborhood's only 10 years old, this house is only 2.5 years old, guess what she now gets? She gets every single, I think there's a couple of thousand homes, or no, probably about 800 homes here, okay, in the different divisions. And now by having me as a customer, you get to go, "Hey, you know John Pyron next door? Yeah. He said I can come over and say hi. He tells me Scott," because his name is Scott, and his wife's name, what is his wife's name? Sonia. Okay. And John says I can come by and introduce myself, man. I just did a pre-inspection plumbing service for him. I got a whole plan laid out for him. He's a reoccurring client of mine, because I can break my biannual inspection down to monthly payments of $49, which means I'm never canceling on you, by the way. Okay. And let's do the math on this real quick, because this is an accounting and finance thing, and this is how I learned it from a great accounting and finance guy. Let's just say $49, and let's just say you have 250 people on that program. That's $12,250 a month in reoccurring revenue that is probably never going to be used, because you're just saying, "Hey, I will take your annual inspection, divide it by 12, and that's how much you're going to pay." Where do I sign? You mean I don't have to worry about a problem happening and you're going to put me as a high priority? Now, I just designed a program that you should get with Choya here, okay? And because Choya has an incredible marketing program, okay? We just talked about this last week, where, if you get on his marketing juice, he promotes you out to all of IBN. It's incredible, okay? And now that you got this new program I just designed for you, and I should be customer number 1, by the way. There's a hint there. Okay? You got my wife's cell number, right? Yep. Okay. Why don't you tell us about your company? Tell us about yourself, who you are, and how they get a hold of you.
Sorry, you caught me chewing there. Been on calls all day, starting to get hungry.
No, I was talking to Sunrise Plumbing here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just touch it. You'll see a little mute thing, or press *6 if you're on a phone. Or here, hit ask to unmute, and then you'll get a notification. You just click the
There,
button.
it's me.
There
Sorry.
it is.
I'm multitasking. No, actually, what you were saying was great. We started a membership program back in the fall, and it's not $49 a month, it's $19.95 a month. So it's highly affordable.
Sign me up, man.
And we go in, depending on the age of your hot water heater, we flush that. We do a whole home inspection. We want to make sure that you know what's going on. We'll give you recommendations. Our guys are not pushy, but we just want you to understand what you have. Flushing your hot water heater is very important to do once a year. And if you're doing the service plan, you're going to be getting it basically for free. You also get priority and you get member pricing. So we really try and take care of our members. So yeah,
Love it.
that's the thing for us. And we love the neighborhood thing too. We went to one house probably a month ago. It was a referral from somebody else that we'd worked on a year ago. And later on during that service, the neighbor comes over and says, "Hey, I got an issue. Can you come over and help me later?" So we end up down that street. And then we get a phone call the next day and, "Hey, you were at my neighbor's house. Can you come fix my plumbing?" So we're in one neighborhood for a better part of the week, just doing little random things because, I mean, your name has more value if someone that you know and trust recommends those people too. So,
Absolutely.
but we have information on our website, sunriseplumbingandremodel.com. Our phone number is everywhere. It's on the website. We're on Facebook. You can reach out. I'm usually the one that answers the phone and responds to all the messages. So we try to service same day because when you have a plumbing problem, you don't want to just trust anybody. And even in the newer homes, we're actually finding a lot of problems. They're going up really fast. They're not being done to code. And in the state of Tennessee, you do not have to have a license to be a plumber. And
No
we
kidding.
absolutely do. We are absolutely licensed, bonded, and
Wow.
insured. And we stand behind everything we do. So relationships are very
Love it.
important to us. Conversation, being there on time, communication. We want everyone to have the 5-star service they deserve.
Yep. And so, and just out of curiosity, out of that program you just described,
Mhm.
okay, how many active memberships do you have?
We have 30 currently,
Boom. Okay.
30 and
Now,
growing.
I want everybody to pay attention to what I'm about to say. Okay. Because this is going to make everybody here, could make everybody $1 million within the next 1 or 2 years. Okay. When you have 30 active clients, okay, and Gene will drop it in the chat window, and if you send an email to do executive assistant at johnpyron.com, all one word, executive assistant at johnpyron.com. Put in the subject line POI and Powerbase, okay? And then my team's going to get you the information that you need, okay? When you have 30 active clients, you want to run this POI and Powerbase system on them because 30 times 4 is
120.
120, right? So you exercise this system that I'm going to tell you right now, Powerbase and POI, you will get 4 referrals from each one of them over the next 30 to 90 days, okay? And that's how many referrals? 120, okay? Then you just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And literally this time next year, if you do exactly what I'm asking you to do, okay, or suggesting that you do, $19.95, I'm just going to take the current pricing, times 500, okay? It's $9,975 per month in recurring revenue times 12. That is $119,700 a year, okay? Now, I would say once you get to 100, that program needs to go, you get your legacy people, $19.95, okay? And I would bump that rate to $29.95. Okay, $29.95 times 500. Okay, that's $14,975 a month times 12, because we're talking about bookkeeping, accounting, and finance. That went from wherever it was to $179,700. I think $179,700 can more than cover payroll and all the expenses that you have as overhead. Okay. And you don't even have to go out and do much other than give all the content to Choya, have Rita run all your funnels, okay, and have Gene do all your graphic design and stuff, okay, and then you're going to need Catherine to show you how to invest the money and categorize it correctly. Otherwise, you're going to buy a new car or do what my wife wants to do. She's got all kinds of list of stuff, and then you're going to be able to afford Bree. So Bree owns a professional housekeeping company, okay? And I want to tell you how the two of you become power partners, okay? Because you have 30 clients that are at $19.95 a month, which means they care enough about their deal to join a program, and they probably don't want to clean their home. And so, Bree, tell us about your housekeeping business and what kind of clients you're looking for, and so you and Sunrise Plumbing here can become new best friends.
Well, thank you, John. Hi, like John said, I'm Bree. I own Brilliant Cleaning Company. We are licensed and insured. Basically, I'm open to any type of client from residential to commercial. I'm actually talking to an apartment complex, and we're thinking about doing a partnership where that'll be 100-something clients there, where I'll be helping with move-ins, move-outs, and I do have weekly and monthly clients already. Some hire me for one-time cleaning, so kind of like you have some of your monthly clients that you check in with, and you have some that call you for emergencies. So that's kind of how I operate as well.
There you go. Drop in the chat window, please, how we can get a hold of you, both of you, please. And so that way my team can make sure you guys get the attention and gets put in the show notes. So that way it's evergreen. Because this show is going to be dropped in so many different ways. It's going to be great. Okay. So, all right. So that's kind of one angle is when you have reoccurring revenue. Okay. Hammer the referrals. Okay. Because let me ask both you and Bree a question. If I can keep your truck or keep your car on the same block for an entire day and you're servicing 5 clients on the same block, what does that do to your profitability?
So,
Skyrockets it, right? You're not having to drive all over town, okay? And then, you're not having to now the cool thing about doing it this way is when you hire a team, then it becomes super profitable. Because you can literally just drop their butt off on that block and they don't have to leave. You can park a trailer there for that matter, and they can be there all week, all day, and all week. So that's the benefit. Okay. So what does this have to do with accounting and finance? Well, the goal is to create so much dang money that you got to have creative financing and accounting. Okay. And that's where Catherine comes in. It's where Choya comes in. It's where Jane Knight comes in. Gene comes in. Everybody here. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's go into. So Mandy put her information in here. Bree put her information in here. Okay. And boom, 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 boom. All right. Couple of minutes left. If you had a magic wand in your hand, what would your business look like over the next 12 months?
So we are actually hoping to grow by 2 or 3 more techs by the end of the year. And then hoping to next spring, so that would be the 12-month mark, get a space with a shop and an office included.
Okay. And so over the next, now, here's the reason I asked the question. I'm going to close with this. This is an exercise for everybody this week. Okay. Well, you sit with that question. If you had a magic wand in your hand, what does your business look like by the end of the year? And Mandy said, hey, we want 3 more techs by the end of the year. Okay. So in order for that goal to be achieved, sit down, you and your hubby, and I want you to play an imaginary game. Use the word imagine. Imagine here you are December 31st of this year and you have 3 more techs. What does achieving that look like for you? What does it do for you? What does it do for your family? What does it do for your income? What does it do for the business? What kind of redundancies does it put in place? What opportunities and options? Get back to the old-fashioned dream board. Cut out pictures. Go get a poster board at Ingles or Kroger or Food City, wherever you shop. Get some friends together. Have a dream board exercise. Because I got to tell you, business is a whole lot more exciting when you know why you're doing what you're doing. Without it, all you're doing is surviving. So, and what happens when you survive is you play a small game. Okay? And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you got a bunch of employees that work for you and they're playing a small game because you've been their mentor and their leader. So always, always, always be stretching for that next goal. And if it's the right goal, you'll barely hit it or you'll barely miss it. And 95% of the time, you're barely going to miss it because by the time you approach it, your goal's going to expand. Okay? Law of the Lid is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Highly recommend the book. Okay? But every day that goes by, just remember, got to put a new log on the fire. Okay? The business is a fire. Okay? Takes a lot of energy to get that fire going, but every day you got to put a log on there. You don't put a log on there, that should scare the crap out of you. Because too many of those days, you're not going to have just coals. Okay? Got to keep adding that wood to the fire, get the right team, get the right marketing person. We got a great pool of talent here. So I'm going to close with this. Catherine, okay, Selflu, put your information in the chat window so everybody knows how to get a hold of you. End up in the show notes. And if you want a second opinion about your financial plan, or maybe you don't have a financial plan, which is most likely because most business owners don't, sit down with her. Lay it out. Me and my wife are sitting down with her this afternoon. Okay? Going to lay it all out. Here's where we're at. Okay? Here's where we're at. Here's where we want to go. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because I am now at a point where I'm willing to listen. Keyword, I'm willing to listen. Okay? I'm willing to do what I'm told. There's a big difference there. Okay? And then, you get with Bree, and then you say, hey, now here's how you know if you need to hire Bree. I want you to take your annual income. Okay? I want you to divide it by 2,080. And if you're a business owner, you're going to act like you're just full-time 40 hours a week, which I know you're probably working more, which is a whole nother topic for a different conversation because Rita, who is no longer here, is a funnel person, a systems person. Okay? But ask yourself this question, the 2 or 3 hours I spend cleaning my home, can I spend planning on my business and have somebody else do it? Because you're never going to get the 3 hours of time back. And I guarantee you, if you're a business owner making if your top line revenue is $500,000 or more and you do not have a housekeeper, you are robbing yourself. You're robbing your business. Okay? If you're mowing your lawn, you're robbing your business. Now, unless you like Troy and you enjoy that stuff. Okay? But you need to have somebody come in and do it, and she does a great job of licensed and insured. That's a very rare combination, by the way. Okay? And then, you bring in Mandy, and even though it's just plumbing, she's got a whole slew of contractors she has relationships with because they all refer each other, and she can help refer other contractors to help you not have problems. Because if I wake up and my water heater's bursted and I have 5 opportunity appointments in my calendar, guess what? Something's got to give. And if she's telling me it's costing me $19.95 a month, you have my permission to call my wife and say, sign us up. John said, sign us up. All right? Because that is a no-brainer.
You just hit 31, just like that, Andy.
I spent more at Starbucks this morning than I did on that. Okay? And all I got was a grande vanilla latte with an extra shot. I got my wife a drink, 3 croissants. I got Haley a drink, and it's a little 3-pack of mandolins. That thing was $24. and I'm consuming it, and it's never going to happen again. Now I got a $19.95 thing that'll save my butt hours. Okay, and then, you know, if you're not happy if you're not happy with your brand, then you need to get a hold of Gene Ortiz. Okay, and you say, hey, John says you're good. Okay, so drop your information, Gene, your personal email in the chat window. Okay, so I've had Gene on my team for over 20 months. Okay, and this is how much I care. This is how much I believe in her. Is contact her directly. Okay, heck, you can hire her through me. I'm going to mark that crap up. Okay, so but she's good. She's very good. Okay, and Choya, from a marketing standpoint, you want attention. You want to take advice. You want true marketing. Why not take advice from somebody who's built 70 chapters in 5 states? You take advice from somebody who's done what they're trying to have you do. Okay. And then Jane, Nicole, Mark, I'd love to give you some attention, but you're not on video. Okay, so feel free to drop your stuff in the chat window and come on here next week and be on video, and we're going to knock it out. Okay. Oh, now Mark shows up with his sunglasses on. Pro Growth Agency, Mr. 20-year-old, started at 17. You know, how many people do you have working for you now, dude? You have 5 people, man. You're only 20. Okay? So, you're in the Knoxville market. This kid, I met him when he's 17. He's our exchange student at Czech Republic. And, but he's got a whole U.S. presence and just kicking some serious butt. He's taken away the thing none of us want to do, by the way, as business owners. Okay? That's why I signed a contract with his butt. I'm like, I don't want to set appointments. I don't want to follow up on nobody. Okay? I don't want to make calls, cold calls, follow up, set appointments, none of that stuff. So I'm hiring your butt to do it. That's why you now have 5 people. Okay? He takes the biggest pain in the butt part that none of us business owners want to do. And if you do like to do that, I want to talk to you because I can resell your services all day long because I don't want to do that crap. Okay? And so, you know, hire Pro Growth Agency. All right? So let's go out and make it happen this week. Come back next week with your biggest business problem or challenge. Like the show, please. Share it on all your social networks. Encourage people to be here. And if you have any questions about what we talked about, you don't know what to do, you try to implement it, and you fall flat on your face or whatever, just go to johnpyron.com, 10-minute appointment. Mark will make sure and follow up on you because it's a system now. Okay? Gene and Mark will follow up on you and make sure that you're all prepped, and all I need is 10 to 15 minutes and knock out your biggest business problem, okay? So I want you guys to be successful. That's why I do this show. I was that 17-year-old high school dropout kid. I just needed somebody to help me. And that's why I do what I do. Okay? So go out and make it happen. You guys are successful, and you guys wouldn't be here otherwise. So go out and take what I taught you this week and implement it. Get a hold of Choya. If you're not familiar with Incredible Towns, definitely you want to learn more about that organization because the moment you sign up as a sponsor or you decide to start your own chapter, you're going to get a massive amount of attention overnight. Okay? So